And it's a very good morning to the gelding. Gelding, we're a little bit off market today. We're going to Rose Hill. No Metropolitan meeting today.
Yeah, good morning, Professor. Good morning, listeners. Something big happening today in Melbourne, Professor?
Oh, yeah, might be the grand final. First time since 2019.
Yeah, so no city races today. Of course, there was the Moya Stakes last night, won by Cool and Gatta. Just beat Bell Nipotina, another Mar Eustace Quinella. Oh, excuse me. And then Sunday, Professor, big day at Sandown. So
yeah, Underwood Stakes Day.
Underwood Stakes Day. Starkey and I'm thunderstruck. So that'll be a huge meeting tomorrow. So hopefully we'll have some tips on our show for tomorrow, Professor. Something to get interested in. But today, a big meeting at Rose Hill being Golden Rose Day. So
yeah, four group races, Gelding.
Yeah, let's try and find some winners, hey?
Yeah, the track's currently a soft 5. The rail's out 5 metres for the entire circuit. The feature race, as you said, Gelding, race 8, the Golden Rose Stakes, a Group 1 over 1,400 metres for 3-year-olds. Only 0.3 of a millimetre of rain over the last 24 hours. So the track will be nice and fresh, I think, Gelding.
That'd be good for Sydney to all of a sudden be racing on a pretty reasonable track rather than the heavy 8 or 9 and 10s it's been of late.
Well, they got pounded in New South Wales yesterday, Gelding, 200 millimetres in some areas, and
yeah,
that's just going on what they've already had a heap of rain in those areas too.
You'd hate to be living around Lismore way, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you'd have a lifeboat in the front yard, wouldn't you?
Dear, you don't need you sell the house, you don't need a garage, you just need somewhere to park your boat.
Yeah. All houses with water views.
Beautiful.
All right, Gelding, what are your 2 best bets for the day?
Well, Professor, I'm going fairly late in the day, but obviously not as late as you. Look, I like race 7, horse 8, Espiona. I'm following James McDonald today. As you well know, I regard him as the best rider in Australia. So nothing wrong following his horses.
Better than Jamie Carr.
Oh, yeah. I like Jamie Carr as a jockey, as you well know. I think she's Victoria's best, but I think McDonald's the best in Australia. And yeah, New Zealand, saying that New Zealand is the best in Australia. It's quite funny, but yeah, look, I do like him. And Espiona, if you remember, this is a horse that on Derby Day last year broke away and won by 4 or 5 lengths and looked like being an absolute superstar, but didn't quite come up as well in the autumn, the wet ornament, but in Sydney. But today on a soft 5, I think it may show its class, Professor. So that's race 7, horse 8, Espiona. And then in the main race, race 9, I think can't go past McDonald and the Blue Army, Professor, in secret, horse number 16. This filly just demoralised them last race. So, yeah, I think we'll follow the Blue Army McDonald, Professor, in the main race, race 8, number 16. And you like, Professor?
Yes, Gelding. I'm going later than you. Race 9, the Ned Whiskey Shannon Stakes, 1,500 metre race. It's a Group 2. I like in that one, Gelding, horse 11, Old Flame.
Old Flame, Professor. You had any of them?
There's a few of those around. Better stick to the racing, Gelding. All right.
Yes, we will.
It's a very lightly raced 5-year-old horse, Gelding, and it's been brought out from England, and it's had 8 races for 4 starts, for 4 wins and 2 placings. So a 50% place rate, a 75 50% win rate, 75% place rate. Since coming to Australia, it's won its last 2 races, including one at Rose Hill. So it's won at the track. Second up, Gelding. It's had 2 starts for a win and a place, so that's pretty good form. It's being ridden by Tommy Berry, who came third in the New South Wales Jockeys Premiership behind James McDonald. So that's pretty good form.
Yeah.
A 13% career win rate, and it's trained by the Snowden. So that gives the horse every chance, Gelding.
Ticks a few boxes there, Professor.
Yes, it does. And I got $6 and $1.85 earlier today. So I'm pretty happy with those odds.
Nice and juicy, Professor.
Yes,
as
Gelding.
you said, sometimes a good each way bet in a very hard race, but $1 out, $1.85 can be like a short price favourite getting up, Professor.
Yes, Gelding, and I'm continuing that form in race 10, the Irresistible Pools and Spars Handicap. Now there's a fair bit of thought gone into that, the naming of that race, Gelding.
Yes.
A benchmark 78 over 1,100 metres, and I'm going in this race, Gelding, horse 8, Kips Bay. Coming out of barrier 9, had 8 starts for 3 wins and 2 placings, 38% win rate, 63% place rate. It's won its last 2 starts in fine style, including a last start win at the track, and it's won over the distance, so that ticks quite a number of boxes. And it's won 3 out of the last 4, and I can get $7 and $2.50. So
wow,
I'm very happy with that.
That's a good each way bet there, Professor. I like him.
Yeah,
I like him.
And being ridden by a jockey who we don't mention very much on this program, Kobe Jennings.
Yes, Kobe Jennings, a good country jockey around New South Wales, and budding rider coming up in the city. So yeah, making his way in racing. Only young, but I don't think you'll lose much with him in the saddle, Professor.
No, Gelding. Now, shall we talk about the very successful Professor's Parlay?
Well, should we add a couple more berries in? Isn't it very, 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 very successful now?
Well, it was last week anyway.
Exactly. But I think since I've returned, or just before I took some leave to go on holidays, Professor, I think we've won about 5 out of the last 6, haven't we?
Yes, I think so, Gelding.
It's not bad.
No, it's not bad. It's like money for old rope, as my grandmother used to say.
Well, it's hard enough to get the racing leg up, but then to follow up with another 2 sports to get up. So you get the 3 up, it's always good.
Well, we're very happy with Manchester City and Tottenham.
Yes.
To salute last week. So it paid 3-1, Gelding. So we got a $15 return on our investment.
Small fish are sweet, Professor.
Well, it's more money going into the bank, Gelding.
And it's better than a little piece of paper with a few tips on it, isn't it?
Yes, it is, Gelding. All right, today's parlay. Let's see if we can keep this form up. Race 8, horse 16, In Secret's the agreed bet of the day. Currently showing $2.70. And let's parlay that into, Gelding, I've had to dig deep. I've gone for the NFL.
Yeah, the NFL, you're leaving the grand finals and preliminary final of the NRL and the AFL alone.
Too hard to pick, Gelding.
Oh, okay.
So in these ones, Gelding, I like Kansas City Chiefs to beat the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah.
Kansas City currently second in the American Football Conference. 2 wins from 2 starts with a plus 26 point differential against very disappointing Indianapolis Colts. They're sitting 12th with haven't won a game. They've had a tie and a loss and a minus 24 points differential.
That's a big gap, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a big gap, Gelding. And with the Kansas City Chiefs having that terrific quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, quarterbacking them, and also probably one of the best tight ends going around in Travis Kelce, I think they'll be too much for the Indianapolis Colts. And let's parlay that into the LA Chargers at home to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Chargers and the Jaguars both are 1 from 1, but the Jags only beat the Colts and they're trailing down the bottom, and I like the Chargers win. They beat the Raiders, your team.
Yeah, quite convincingly.
Yeah, and lost to the Chiefs, which isn't too disappointing given how we rate the Chiefs.
Well, I think a lot of sides will lose to the Chiefs this year, Professor.
Yeah, I think so, Gelding. So all up, the parlay showing 6-1.
Wow. I like it, Professor.
So we'll be very happy if that gets up, Gelding.
Yes. And Professor, that'll be the icing on the cake for what should be a very, very good day for you.
Well, it should be, Gelding. All right, well, we've got Sports Fan Radio tomorrow at midday with all the usual suspects, and I'm sure there are several things to discuss. Number one being the grand final and how it went in Melbourne, and whether we should put players on boats on a river, and whether that's really a grand final day parade.
It was interesting, wasn't it, Professor?
Yeah, interesting's a good word, Gelding.
Yeah. I don't know whether. Yeah, I don't know what was wrong with Burke's, right? But,
do we feel we got the same engagement with the players?
No. But a good discussion for tomorrow, Professor.
It is, Gelding, and also the bombshell during the week coming out of the Hawthorn Football Club.
Hawthorn. Yeah. Be interesting to hear the judges' kind of views there, where let's have the accusation. Yeah, let's throw a bit of dirt at them and see. Let's not give them the right to, reply.
Well, the other thing, Gelding, that I find interesting, and we'll use that word again. Let's face it, the league was sitting on that report for 2 weeks. How long were they going to sit on it?
Oh, well, if it didn't come out in the papers, we wouldn't hear it till after today, would we?
No, that's exactly right, Gelding. So I think there are a few questions going around, but look, they're two big topics that we'll be looking at tomorrow, and also your tips for Underwood Stakes Day at Sandown.
Yeah, hopefully we can tip the listeners into a few winners today and tomorrow, Professor.
Well, Gelding, you've been very, very successful on that Sunday punt with those tips.
Yeah.
I think you gave the listeners or the viewers 4 out of 5 a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I've got to admit, I do like the Sunday. I like the Sunday meetings, especially when they're in the country, Professor. There's a limited type of winnable chances. But anyway, we'll see how we go. Now,
All right,
Professor,
Gelding.
is it my turn today?
Yes, it's your turn, Gelding. So
Right.
I look forward to liaising with you during the day as we see how those bets go. And until next Saturday, it's good luck.
And good punting.